Hey everyone, I hope that you're having a good week. I wanted to jump on and share my thoughts on a few things regarding companies that are transitioning or looking to become more equitable. I have had a lot of different conversations with individuals that are trying to do this work. And I think that there are a few key points that companies need to understand before they delve into trying to change their culture and becoming more diverse. Now, this is not something that they have to ruminate over for months and months and months. Change can be done at a good pace. I think it's an excuse when people say that, it takes a million years for culture to change. It may, but there are things that you can do to hit the ground running. So, number one, people don't trust you. Okay, so understand that people who are from marginalized, underrepresented communities who have worked in your institution, if you are waking up and realizing that there weren't equitable practices there, they have known it, lived it, and seen it, which means they don't trust you to be able to change it because essentially you just woke up. Okay. You just woke up, and it wasn't even because of their them telling you that there were issues. It's because the world is telling you that there are issues. So if they can't trust you to see the issues yourselves, how are they going to trust you to actually change the culture? So that's number one. Institutions need to realize that they are not trusted, and the foundations that they're built on are white supremacist foundations, which means that it's going to be really difficult when you benefit from these systems to root them out. That's number one. Number two, committees do not equal commitment. Again, they don't trust you. So if you're building a committee of individuals who have already been in the system, benefiting from the system, regardless of whether they are underrepresented identity or not, it's going to be more difficult for them to have the insight to know what to do and to understand how to change it. So pressure breaks pipes is what I'm saying. And right now, everybody needs a plumber. Okay, everybody. Find one. Find an external person. Commit by funneling resources to finding the right people who can help you, whether that be consultants, just outside perspectives that can help guide you in the process of change, because it can start on the inside, but I'm not so sure that it's going to go to the levels that you want it to go if you are just doing it with the people who have already been in the system. Number three, which piggybacks off of number two, you're too close to the problem. Okay, so if you are not seeking a different structure for what you have been doing this entire time, and you're not looking for diversity of thought, in this instance, more strategic planning as well, then that is an issue, right? So committees ain't going to do it. Sometimes we're too close to the problem to understand or to be able to see the solutions. So be mindful of that. Also, when it's everyone's job, it's no one's job. There have to be accountability structures. Things need to be built into people's performance programs, because if it's not there and people aren't being held accountable for, upholding inclusivity and equity, then they don't really have to think about it, because they're going to get paid anyway, even if they don't uphold inclusivity and equity, right? So understand that this is a shift from the rooter to the tutor, as they say. You have to completely renovate, reimagine your practices and your institution. If you're not doing that, and if y'all are just hiring diversity, equity, and inclusion, individuals, just one, to come in and completely change your culture, it's gonna take more than that. Also thinking about your staff that are, underrepresented and marginalized, and giving them more access to the table, right? That is really important. You're not going to sit around and figure out how to fix the solution if they're not a part of the conversation, right? Or fix the problem if they're not a part of the conversation. They are affected. They've been affected. So there needs to be space made to understand that. And I would say number 5, data is everything. And, getting those numbers and really understanding, how many underrepresented people have you hired? How is the hiring process? What are your policies that could have been inhibiting certain participants from entering into your institution? What are the cultures that are maintaining status quo that may keep individuals from rising up in your institution or in your company? And then how do people actually feel working in your space? Those are all data points that you should be going out there and trying to find out. You're not going to fix the problem unless you examine it. And that requires introspection and looking at yourselves, looking at your company, okay? The way that we start changing these environments is by starting to build trust. And to be honest, I can say this as someone who is, woman of color. We need to hear it really loud and proudly, and we need to feel the shift in the floor in order for us to think that you're actually moving on this. So if you're not making grand gestures, grand changes, foundational changes that everyone can feel, that are huge shifts, if that's not what's happening, it's going to be hard for those exact same people that you're trying to include to believe that you're about the work. So those are a few of my wise thoughts, I guess, or thought processes on institutions and how they can change and build sustainable diversity and equity initiatives. And that basically means you got to break the table and rebuild it completely. All right, guys. Bye.